How do you save carrot seed? Today I'm going to show you. G'day there, I'm Dana from Pewakaika Valley Homestead. Today I'm out in my garden and I am going to show you how I go about saving carrot seeds for next year. We have grown a type of carrot that has been grown locally for a really long time. So I've got it from a local seed bank. And I got these, it must have been spring, not last year but the year before. And so because carrots take 2 years to set their seed. So you grow them the first year and that's when you usually eat them. And then, but if you want to get seed from those, you have to grow them again the next year and let them flower. So I grew these last season and I saved the very best carrots. I'm just going to sit you there so you don't wobble so much. I saved the very best carrots and then I planted those again the following year and have let them flower. So when you're selecting carrots to keep, you want to keep the very best carrots that you have out of the bunch. So it doesn't matter if you actually harvest the carrots, you can even store them over winter, especially if winter where you are is really, really cold. The best thing you can do is actually pull up the carrots and store them somewhere. And I do have a blog post that I've written all about how to store carrots without using your fridge. So I will link to that blog post down below so you can check that out. So you don't have to worry about the carrots taking up a huge amount of room in your refrigerator. So what I have done is I went through all my carrots and I picked out the biggest, best ones. And I selected 4 or 5 that were the best out of the lot. You don't want to just let one carrot go to seed. You want to let a few of them go to seed so that they can cross-pollinate with each other and you know you're getting a good range of genetic diversity amongst your seed. So what I did was I went through my pile of carrots that I have in the ground and I looked for ones with nice big round tops because I didn't want to pull out all the tiny wee ones as well. So I found the ones, see, like all in here, I found the ones with the biggest roundest tops. And the idea with that is you're keeping the ones that have done best in your area, in your dirt, in your circumstances. For me that means they were barely watered as seeds, they were pretty much never watered as seedlings, and then rely solely on sky juice, rely on the rain to grow during the rest of the season. Then you pull out your carrots. Now this one I've just pulled out, it's a wee bit shorter because this isn't very late in the season, but you want to check over and make sure it doesn't have any blemishes and make sure that it's a good well-formed carrot. And then all you need to do is whop the top off, which is easier to do if you have more than one hand. Hang on, there we go. Cut the top off and then you need to store it over the winter somewhere. In the fridge in a bag is perfectly fine, just somewhere that it's not going to go rotten or mouldy. It is recommended that if you're going to be storing them that you save at least twice as many as you think you're going to need, because inevitably something will get dried up or develop rot or something. So keep more than the 4 or 5 you think you're going to need. Then what you want to do the following springtime is find a place in your garden that you don't mind letting these things go to seed, because believe it or not they make massive plants. So I chose the end of one of my garden beds. Unfortunately I chose it right next to a pathway and they have taken over the pathway. I've had to tie them back, so I'll show you those. This is the pathway and in front here is our perennial kale, and it just grows all over the place too, so I need to move it as well. And in behind it was the carrots that I sowed. So I chose this garden bed and I planted the carrots right along the back. And all you need to do is dig yourself a hole that's big enough to put that carrot in and stick it in the ground and tamp around it and give it a bit of a water. And nature will take its course and it will grow a new top. And then it will grow big white umbrella flowers. And then if you just continue to leave it, each of those flowers will turn into a cluster of seeds like this. Now once they start going brown, and the very end of it, the wee leafy bits around the bottom are still green, this is the time you want to snip them off and store them into either a cloth or a paper bag and store them somewhere that is dry. It can be warm, but it needs to be dry. I hang mine up in the kitchen just from a post. And once they are dry completely, you don't want to harvest them while they're still green like this. They still need to mature. So you need to wait until they're brown on the top, but still a little green on the bottom. If you wait until the whole seed head's brown, you'll find that all these wee seeds have actually released, and you'll end up just growing carrots all over wherever they're growing. So you can sow them directly from how they are like this, which is what I've actually done in that carrot bed over there. I just picked a couple of heads off and just rubbed them all over. So once they're completely dry, you can just rub them between your hands and it will free all the seeds. Here's one here, you can see. And you just give it a bit of a rub. And the seeds are just all in there. So you don't want these drying out in your garden, because those seeds will just fling everywhere. So then all you need to do is pop them in an envelope. And be sure to label them both with the year and the variety and what they actually are. And store them somewhere cool, dark and dry. You can put them in the fridge or the freezer if you want to. A lot of people do store their seeds in a sealed container in the fridge. Personally, I prefer not to, because I can't guarantee that they're not going to get damp in there. So I store mine in the laundry, just in a paper envelope with their names on them. Carrot seeds keep their viability for quite a few years, so I am planning on keeping these particular ones for the next 2 or 3 years as my seeds, and then after that I will save some more seeds and grow some more from them to keep, just keep replenishing them. If you're wanting to keep seeds from any plant, be sure to check that it's an heirloom or at least an open pollinated plant before you try and keep the seeds. If it's an F1 cross or a hybrid, you'll find that the seeds that it makes won't grow plants that are true to type, so they won't be exactly the same as the parent. If that's all you have and you're desperate for seed, that's okay, and it will still grow carrots. It's not like it's going to grow some other completely different plant, but they won't be identical to the ones you've sown. Whereas open pollinated and heirloom varieties, they stay true to type, and so their babies will be the same as what the parents were. The upside to keeping your own seed is that slowly over time, if you're growing them from the plants that have done the best from your place, they will become adapted to grow really well at your place. I hope you found that video useful. If you have, hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one.